All right, it's Mosley Show. Scotty Swingler alongside, and we were in Baylor basketball. Scotty's had other shows on his plate today. I don't know how he pulled it off today because when I was watching that TV show, the other show Scotty produces is the Pete Souza show, and he looked like he was in a nice holiday sweater, nice looking sweater, doing some radio. I don't know, Scotty, and I thoroughly confused everybody. I'm glad I didn't tweet about this. I need to find out who was doing play-by-play on TV. It sounded like Derek to me, and John was not doing play-by-play, so JMO was doing color commentary, which I thought, well, that's interesting, that's different, and then I just assumed, I thought it sounded like Derek. Everything about it sounded like Derek, but it was not Derek, which is why I thoroughly confused Derek when I started texting him during the game today. So at some point, somebody will tell me who was calling that game. Somebody, by the way, if you're Twitter, Scotty always puts it out there on Twitter when we start premium Twitter. Scotty, that's the only problem. I did not, and you may be like me, I did not, I always liked in the old days when you had to earn the check mark, the blue check mark. I hate the ability to pay for the check mark. So I never did. But then you to get on what Scotty, what you're part of and what I'm part of, to be able to do what we do on Twitter, which is like broadcast on Twitter, you've got to sign up for the blue check mark and you pay for the thing. And anyway, Scotty, I'm not doing well on, by the way. I think I've, you know how we're supposed to submit things and get reimbursed. I don't think I've ever done that. All right. But I appreciate Scotty was really having to walk me through that experience a few weeks ago. And since then, about a month ago or so, it's been great. Our numbers have blown up. There's a lot of excitement, lots of impressions, or I don't even know what that means, impressions. That, to me, that means like when I try to do an impression of somebody. But whatever you call those things, we're doing well, and that's exciting. And we could not do it without all our great live listeners and the people that have signed up for the YouTube channel. And so far, Scotty, no boost, no. Again, I wish someday, Scotty, come on here and walk me through what would happen if I hit the button that said promote or I hit the button that said boost, because I'm afraid it would hit me in the pocketbook. But surely Rogue would take care of that, obviously. You would think, if I ever thought to turn in expenses. Okay, Scotty. By the way, what about gas? What a year it's been. And well, Scotty, we finally came up for air last weekend. Think about that. Think about was it Saturday or Sunday? And we're sitting there, Scotty, just, man, finally, it's been a rough season for Baylor. We did all this pregame show, and for Scotty, for 7 or 8 home games, it was 3 hours of pregame. For us, it was 2 hours, but I mean, for basically like 12 straight weeks. And it was fun. We had fun with it, but it's like, oh my gosh, a day off. And then what happens on the so-called day off? Everything starts breaking. Oh my gosh, Baylor's going to have a new AD. Oh my goodness, here's when they're going to announce it. Here's how that's going to happen. And so everything broke out. Now, I admit, Scotty, that I kind of thought the way this would work is he would do the big hoo-ha Monday, Doug McNamee, and then, of course, when Baylor royalty comes into place, what's the first thing they need to do? They need to go be on the Mosley show, right? They need to go join up Mosley and Scotty and be on this platform, this large platform. And it hasn't happened yet. And I'm kind of like, okay, guys, what's going on? And I did, Doug and I were just talking today, and it will happen. It's very much on his radar, and they're kind of, he's got a lot on his plate and a lot to do. And I think one of the things is, and I get this. So they did the media blitz. He was at the game today. They're taking pictures of him. I think it's I mean, it's kind of funny, Scotty, if you think about it. It's like, and again, I'm so happy for Doug because he's a friend and all that kind of stuff. But that aside, Doug's getting the treatment that most times the head coaches get, like at all these places like Auburn and everywhere that they hired coach, Arkansas, they go to the game, right? And then they get on the mic and then they do the blah, blah, blah. And the social media stuff goes crazy. Well, Baylor's doing that for its new AD. And like today, Baylor Athletics or something. Scotty, you'll have to look at it. I can't remember if it's men's basketball Twitter site or Baylor Athletics, but it's like, this is what it means to, the first moments of and it's got Doug like rooting on the sideline. So I mean, again, I get it. Baylor should be excited, and it's a homegrown guy. I have kind of wondered, Scotty, once you get your man, it's like everybody's just like either on board or mad or whatever, and that's fine. That's fine. Again, I'm not mad at people who aren't on board. If they didn't like this hire or whatever, that's okay. It's okay. It's a safe space. I heard you call them yesterday, Scotty, like the negative Nancy's or something. I'm okay. This is a safe space for the negative Nancy's. That's okay. And by the way, the best way to get on this show, someday maybe we'll come up with a way you can like call in, because I kind of like the old school call in. But for now, you just sign up for YouTube, and then you've got this whole, if you're watching this thing live on YouTube, you can just like live. Now, they know I'm way too distracted, and I would not be able to function reading all your stuff. But Scotty's really good at that. So if you have thoughts, you can jump on there. But one of the things, since I'm trying to complete a thought for once, is that I was kind of wondering, okay, who finished second? Who else was in the mix? I had somebody out there, Scotty, tell me that like the Rice AD was a good candidate for the Baylor job. I don't know much. You can't say that I know much about the Rice. I didn't hear that name come up, but somebody did reach out to me and go, this was a really excellent candidate. Okay, that's fine. I do think President Livingstone did like Hunter Yurachek a lot. Okay, not saying, hey, she was head of the search committee, driving the bus on all this. So obviously she got to a place where she decided that Doug McNamee was the right way to go. But don't let everybody fool you. Hunter Yurachek, the Arkansas, and of course, if they'd have made that hire, Scotty, talk about negative Nancy's, you got all the Arkansas people that have been happy telling us this guy stinks, this guy's no good, blah, blah, blah. And then the Baylor people would be like, the Arkansas people don't like them. Why do we have? Now, that would have been, though, for the people that are like, this guy's been on about Doug. He's been gone for 8 years. Field and Stream, what's that? I thought what's that about? I think maybe they would have liked the fact that Yurachek has been around and been doing his thing. And has been in college athletics and all that. So I think Yurachek we were on to something there, because I threw that name out first and then everybody jumped on that deal, which is fine. I don't, never like, give me credit. I mean, as long as you don't just completely rip it off. And even when you do that, I don't really get that mad. Nobody these days, we used to just like be in our world. And of course, there's still the Schefters and the Shams and all that. But in our world, in the old days, it's like the scoop was the biggest thing in the world. Now, the truth is, nobody cares. They care about getting the news, but then it's about like, okay, who is this? What is this like? Okay, what's Baylor going to do at defensive coordinator? What's they going to do at offensive coordinator? Now, Scotty, we have heard, let me catch you up on some of that. We have heard the rumors, and I understand why it happens, that could Spavital end up, TCU has an opening at offensive coordinator. Could Spavital end up there? I understand why people would think that. From my people kind of inside the building at TCU, that's not totally what they're hearing. Now, somebody got hired that we know, Scotty. Oh, Randy Clements got hired to go to South Carolina with Kendall. and be the offensive coordinator for Beamer at South Carolina. I love that. Matt Zenitz from On 3 or whatever he's on, or CBS is On 3. Maybe they're all together. But anyway, he was like listing all the Clements has been here, here, here. And I'm like, okay, we're really not going to say like what Clements is known for. Clements has been with Art since Art was like at Stephenville. Okay. I mean, Randy Clements is as attached to Art Briles as anyone, almost more than his own son, Kendall Briles. But Kendall is taking Randy. So he's getting some of the old gang together. Kendall, offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, Randy Clements. Known him. You've loved him. You've known about him forever. He's headed to South Carolina. And so some openings, the offensive coordinator opening. And so, but I do think Spavital, and again, I get it why you would maybe want to look somewhere else because the Baylor is in major lame duck mode. Doesn't mean they don't have some great coaches. I mean, I do feel good right now, at least about Paul Gonzalez, who might have been the one defensive coach this year that his group kind of hung in there and did okay at cornerback. Paul Gonzalez, at least for now, I'm hearing, I mean, honestly, it would be so awesome if they would go bring in Gary Patterson. The problem is he's already been brought in as a consultant, and for whatever reason, it didn't work. And I think probably one of the reasons it didn't work is Gary's a huge personality. The players and everybody are going to gravitate to him. And it's hard if Dave Aranda has a philosophy. And again, at some point, people thought his philosophy was pretty good. He was the defensive coordinator at Wisconsin. At LSU, everybody in the world wanted to hire him as a defensive guy. So you had Dave over here. You got Gary who wants to do it one way. And maybe Gary was teaching things in a little different manner than Dave wanted. I don't exactly know what happened there. When it blew up, I do remember having Gary on, and he shed some light on it, but I don't know if we ever found out the whole story there. But remember, there's two coaches on this Baylor staff that are Patterson guys. Now, the problem with bringing in Gary is that Gary has such a presence about him that he's more like a head coach than really anybody that would be on that staff. So that would have to be a Dave thing, getting comfortable with bringing Gary in as a defensive coordinator. I think Hugh Freeze considered bringing in Gary Patterson as defensive coordinator at Auburn at one point. I don't know if that's when he first got the job or when that was happening, but they just had a bit of a philosophical difference. And for our big, X's and O's gurus out there, some of you guys know that. Gary, and you go, well, why are we listening to Mosley on Gary Patterson? Well, it's because Gary and I are good friends, and Gary comes on with me anytime I need him. So, I mean, I would just say, I think my credentials when it comes to talking about Gary Patterson and the people who've coached under him are pretty good. Gary does something. There's in coaching parlance, there's a term called match corners, and it's what you do with your cornerbacks and safeties, it's how you line up your corners across the field, and it kind of has to do with like dividing up. You hear people say we play quarters. Well, that means different quarters of the football field. And so Gary has the ability to line up his DBs in a way that they're matching up with the receivers, but there's also some zone concept that comes in. I mean, I know Scotty's sitting back there like, you go, Coach Mosley. You tell them about how this. But again, I don't try to get into all that too much. You don't come here for your X's and O's. Mosley's going to take you through the history of. But these concepts that Gary got really good were a lot of this came to match up with the Mike Leach, Air Raid, Jake Spavital, Dan Holgerson, Paul Mummy, whoever you want to bring up. Art Briles to a certain extent, like the air raid type, that passing game, the spread formations that came up for, oh my gosh, not only Hal Mumby, but Mouse Davis and all those people. Maybe even give John Jenkins some credit back at U of H. But run and shoot was what they ran. But it was defenses that were designed to best go against those kinds of offense. Because at some point, everybody started. I mean, like even Alabama, even I hear somebody go, I'm pro, we got to run the ball. We got to run it like SEC. Well, even the great Saban realized he had to change his offensive approach, and with the spread and with as many plays were being run and how to defend that, he had to change up. And that was where Sark and Lane, Kiffin, and all the guys he's kind of leaned on from a play calling standpoint over the years. Even Dayball came in and helped with that. So I think you would go Mosley. So what do you tell us? Who's coming in? Now, I will say I'm like a lot of you that are reading the message boards, and hey, I'm on Sick'em 365, and I'm a paying deal. Back in the day, I kind of was on the ground floor of that and was at least visiting with the guys at the very start of that about kind of being involved really from the ground floor. Now, I didn't end up doing that, but I've always had great relationships with those guys, and I like what they do, and I like some of the stuff, and I like how plugged in Colt and Ashley and Grayson and my man S11 over there, Sam Bradshaw. Sam's, Sam. It's so funny to me, and I like the young Will and who's my Levi. I love Levi's a great baseball guy. I think he's getting a little tired of some baseball stuff, but he's done some really good work on football this year. And Levi jumps in there and will do some hoops coverage, but really, really good guys over there. But yes, I'm like some of you. I like to get on there, but on top of kind of reading that, then I get out there and like Scotty does, and we work our phones, we work our sources. And I think a lot of us were interested that suddenly we realized that and this was a coach that I had interest in because he was at University of Buffalo, and he played at Baylor. His name's Mo Linguist, and Maurice Linguist to be exact, but they call him Mo. He was at Buffalo. Now he's at Alabama as like the co-defensive coordinator. He's a really talented coach. It's kind of like that other guy that he may have played with. I'm trying to think of when Linguist was there, but Newberry, the coach at Navy, I love that guy. I mean, I think some of those Naval Academy coaches like Monken at Army, and you'll see the Army-Navy game this week, and you'll know what I'm talking about. They're more creative than ever, and they get it done with less than most schools, and they strap it on and go play a lot of these schools very tough. I mean, you get to the end of the season, you go, oh, what's old Newberry's? What did he finish up this year? Oh, 9-3, 10-2. Oh, really? Well, who'd he play? Well, some of these other teams like South Florida and Tulane and all these coaches that everybody's hiring, he's playing, beating some of those teams. So it's always interesting. Eric Morris, Eric Morris is lining up trying to beat Navy. And so anyway, these are some of the coaches out there. But this Linguist is of interest. He'd be a great hire. The problem is, you got to pay these guys a lot to leave a great job to come to what amounts to kind of a lame duck situation. Now, if Dave Aranda and whatever staff he's able to piece together come out firing with Keenan and the rest of them and Dallas Baker, and they come out firing next year and they go 9-3 or 8-4 or 10-2, then it's like, well, let's keep Dave. Let's just keep on status quo. Dave's signed up through 2029 or 30 anyway. So that would be great. That would be great. I know people are sick of him and they want him gone. Do I understand that? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Did I think it was time to move on? Absolutely. But I said that during the 2023 season. All right, which again, even then was not stepping out on a limb. It was a pretty easy thing to see. I had a conversation with Mac late in that 2023 season, and it really led me to believe, and I can't remember if it was via text or, and it was not on air. It was just the two of us talking. And it just looked like for all the world that he was going to have to move on. And they ended up staying with Dave on, he's going to keep these DBs. He's going to keep these guys here. We love him. All these people love him. I think he needs another chance. We're going to get all this NIL money. I mean, they've given him every possible chance in the world. So, again, by most measures, at most Power 4 teams, like if Dave had have done what Matt Wells did, who's now at Kansas State, if Dave had have done at Baylor what Matt Wells did at Tech, Dave would have been like a made man. And unfortunately, Tech, I just kind of at the time, I can't even remember, but they got real disgruntled and whatever. They moved on. And then, of course, the money train came, and it was enormous money. And Joey's done really well there. Well, when Joey took over, I mean, they went, I don't know, they were fine, but it was like 7-5, 8-4, 8-5. I mean, let's not act like he took over and they immediately went to the CFP, but the money train came in. He runs a tight ship in terms of how they construct things. And James Blanchard, who came from Baylor, has done an incredible job in personnel. Hey, I get it. Everybody said, well, they got all the money. I mean, with that money, I could be successful. Maybe. But you do have to go get the right people. And all these pass rushers, like I just looked at the mock draft, and David Bailey, who they brought in and to play, and then they got pass rushers. The thing they did is what Dave Aranda wants to do, and that's build that defensive line, get great. Which is funny because you would think Tech, if you were thinking like old Tech, you'd go, okay, let's go find some receivers and a quarterback and some running backs, and let's just load up because we are an offensive team. But what happened is Tech hired that guy from Houston, and they've gotten really good on defense. And they knew they were getting better on defense. And so let's get a lead on defense. Well, you go, well, okay. Well, they probably allotted $10 million to like unbelievable defensive players, to the point where this David Bailey, Scotty, if I get that name wrong or one of those Tech name wrongs, you holler at me. But I just looked on the mock draft today, and he's going 6th, number 6, top 10. Now, even from the past, whether it be Matt Wells or Joey or whoever, they did have some edge rushers and guys that were going like top 10, top 15 in the draft. So let's not act like, oh, Tech's never had a great defensive player. They have, okay? I don't want anybody coming after me saying, oh, Tech didn't have a good defender. I can take you all the way back to Senor Smoke or Senor Sack, the great Gabe Rivera. Joey will be on with me Friday. All right. And I know that makes a lot of people feel a lot of different ways. A lot of Baylor people, it makes them mad. It may even make the Baylor administration, why does Mosley have to have Joey on, rub it in our faces? Obviously, Mac could have hired Joey. He did not. He hired Dave Aranda. I know why he did. We're not going to get all the way back into that. At the time, honestly, it probably seemed like, I mean, for just keeping everything together and how great 2019, Joey would have been like keep everything. And again, we never know. What would the money have been like? What would the NIL like? What would Joey have done at Baylor? People go, we've been better than Dave. Maybe. I mean, they did win a 2021 championship. Would Joey have won that? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Joey had great relationships with Petrie and all those defensive players, all those great defensive players. I mean, Joey was the guy behind the whole take 3 concept and pushing that. And when Joey and Rule and all of them got great in 2019, Lynch and who was our big man in the middle, Scotty? who was the huge? They had one big nose tackle who was a load. He was good, and they had the guy from Ennis at defensive end, and they had James Lynch. They have two Lynches on that team, on that defensive line. Anyway, they had the guy that went on to the Vikings, and then they had the big man from Ennis on one side, and then in the middle was just this monster. I love that kid. And then the NFL scouts used to say he's a garbage can full of sand, meaning he was immovable. He was an immovable force in the middle. I like that old 2019 line they ran. They ran a 3-4 under Phil Snow. Whatever happened to Phil Snow? Get Phil Snow back over here. Is Phil Snow still doing anything? They just fired their defensive coordinator at Nebraska. Can we get Phil Snow back in here? And I love the late, great offensive line coach that came with Matt. Now, that was a fun staff. I learned a lot from that staff because George was awesome. George, what was old George's name? A real old guy, but dang, was he a good O-line coach. Matt did a good job of and he'd been an O-line coach in the NFL. Matt had an interesting staff, but Joey has taken the best traits, the best things from that he got from Rule, added his own stuff, took Lynch from Baylor, and then added Cody Campbell's billions, and you have a recipe for success. So it's been interesting to watch, and you'd like to be like, come on guys, come on back home, Brian Nance, we miss you, buddy, come on back home. Baylor's going to have to do some different things. I do think Baylor's going to get a little bit more creative at that GM position. I know, Scotty, that's something you and I have talked about. I'm going to keep checking in on a lot of these different things, I mean, but let me kind of circle back around to stuff here. The Spavital to TCU thing, I'm just saying, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying, I think that's more speculation than really hard truth or fact right now. And I think I noticed my man Colt Barber agreed with me on that front. And that's what I'm hearing as well. Always love that Mo Linguist name. I mean, get him in here immediately. That'd be a lot of fun. He's been a head coach. He's a Baylor guy. I mean, we're in the mood. We're in that mode right now of Baylor guys. Let's bring in the Baylor people. People are going to get sick of that. They're going to say, hey, can we get somebody from the outside? But, but again, I'm at the point where I'm just like, let's let this thing go. Now, Scotty, come on here with me real quick. We need to take a break here in a second, obviously. Thank you, C&B, by the way. I've been talking to Fondle, talked to Joe yesterday. Joe, talking about the Nesbitt family, some of the titans of the industry, the president, the CEO of that bank over there. It is nice, Scotty, and I know you probably have accounts at different places and maybe China Spring out that direction. You like to support local, but C&B, we're just so proud of our association with them. Now, Scotty, today, the latest portal departure appears to be DJ Coleman. Now, we cannot act shocked at each of these like, oh my gosh, Baylor's losing players. We knew it. I want to be careful here, though, Scotty, because I'm seeing people on Sikkim and otherwhere kind of try to refer to this as like, oh, dead weight. Okay, first of all, at some point, we really were excited about a lot of these players. And that guy can play, this DJ Coleman. So whatever y'all might call dead weight, he's going to surface somewhere at like Louisville or Michigan State or Michigan, wherever. And we'll look up here in about a year and go, oh, gosh, I guess somebody else kind of liked old DJ Coleman. So, Scotty, I think all of this is inevitable, all of these departures. And some of them will be people that were like, dang it, I kind of liked him. But that's just part of the deal. I think what people are going to have to understand and accept is that, Scotty, this number could go. One of the things we used to brag about a little bit with Aranda is like, well, they love Dave, and we lose fewer players than anybody. We thought that was a great thing. And it comes to find out, we probably needed to be losing more players than we did. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And Scotty, this group right now, I think we're going to lose a lot. And that's okay. I mean, what do? You go 5-7. Are you like, oh my Lord, we're losing all these great players? We're already losing all these great receivers and a great quarterback anyway, just to graduation or eligibility. So anyway, Scotty, I think, but it's interesting, isn't it, to kind of watch the drip, and then it's going to get steadier and steadier of these departures.
Yeah, there's going to be several guys that go, and it will be interesting to kind of read whether it ever officially comes out or we get some insider information from Ashley or somebody. Interesting to see who leaves of their own accord and who didn't get a raise and thinks they can make more money. I'm going to push back on you a little bit, Matt. We spent all season talking about DJ Coleman, but what has he contributed to the football program? You know, like I can kind of understand why people have reacted the way they did. And your best ability is your availability, and he was hardly available this season. So, you know, I feel like
I liked him when he was out there, and I thought he was actually a playmaker. I'd have to look back on how many games he missed. That's interesting. I did not necessarily, when I saw his name pop up, I didn't really think of him as like a, you know, when I think of those guys, it's like Carl and those people that were never available. I thought DJ was out there and actually made plays. And of course, nobody got takeaways on this team. But I thought if anybody was going to separate you from the ball, I kind of thought it was DJ, really.
I mean, I don't know. I can't recall a single play he made all season. I can think of plays Kendrick Simpkins made, certainly Jacob Redding, Keaton Thomas, Matthew Fobbs White. Like there's some guys on this team I wouldn't want to lose. Jacob Redding and Keaton Thomas and probably Fobbs White at the top of the list. But you know, we're gonna have to figure out, and I mean, he's got a season. Like he's got a season to figure out. With this Aranda staff, if it's talent evaluation or talent development, because what we have seen is a lot of these guys transfer out after one phenomenal year that they can't replicate. And I wonder how that happens under this coaching staff. I'm thinking of Richard Reese plays for Stephen F. Austin now. Looked like dynamite shot out of a cannon as a freshman, and then we couldn't figure out how to utilize him after that. There was another defensive player that transferred out with kind of a similar deal. I mean, think about Caden Jenkins freshman year versus, you know, being asked to leave. Think about
you're talking about player development. You're talking about player development.
Well, sure, but that's my point. Like
some of those freshmen.
Keaton Thomas might have taken a step back this year. I mean, DJ Coleman, like, I feel like he's representative. We've talked about how talented he is, and it hasn't really shown on tape. And so again, I don't know if that's evaluation or development.
That's maybe how bad the defense was that I think of him actually as a pretty talented guy that I would like to keep around. But I think they had some corners that played better this year. Now some of these guys, Scotty, don't have any eligibility left. I don't think. Did they not? Does Keaton have? I don't know if Keaton. I think
Keaton's got a year left. Keaton's got a year left.
Okay. I was trying to remember who celebrated Senior Day, and I thought Keaton was out there. Anyway, you know, the other one that they were talking about today was Jackie, and that was going to be one of the faces of the defense. And honestly, he was banged up. Too much was expected of him. He had no help. They had no depth at nose tackle. They let Lands play defensive end. He'd played nose tackle in the past. It was, and see, that's where it gets interesting, is because, there's some people who try to make the argument, oh, they had the talent. But this staff, what I'm hearing from this staff right now is that they were undermanned and underfunded. And then the people that I think the coaches in the future, what you got to have people saying, you know what? It's kind of what Doug McNamee was talking about the other day. Let's lean into what we do have rather than what we don't have. But I do think these coaches felt like they went to battle this year with not enough armor and were completely underfunded and completely undermanned in all those areas. They had some guys get hurt, but I'm just saying that's what they believe.
Yeah, and I've seen some comments from I don't know that I should share this. I've seen some comments from Keenan Hall on X that frustrated me about Tech buying their team. And Matt, that's not, the money thing isn't a good enough excuse for me to miss a bowl, to not just to underperform, Matt, but miss a bowl game. We can go back 15 years and talk about all the kids that came to Baylor as 2 or 3 star kids and wouldn't have been paid a lot in the current era and left as NFL players. My friend Terrence, Xavier Howard. If we go to the rule staff, there's dozens of them. Blake Lynch played 6 positions at Baylor, spent 5 years in the NFL as a linebacker because he was developed. James Lynch, 3-star, developed, like 3rd-round pick. Like all these kids, it's happened forever. And this staff, it's 6 years. Like kids have not come to Baylor and left as NFL players. And we can blame money, but I say it's a problem that goes before the money became a big deal. And if we blame the money, I would say, well, that might hold water for me if we won 7 or 8 games again, but we won 5. And I don't like it, dude. I don't like blaming the money thing.
James Lockhart was who I was trying to think of, earlier when I was thinking of that.
Oh, yeah, he was good.
2019. Yeah, when I'm struggling by that way, Scotty, that's my cry for help for you to come on with me and provide names for me rather than just let me wither on the vine. But no, James Lockhart, I think he was in like number 9. Yeah, he was just a big, tough guy. Who was the guy in the middle, though? You had Lockhart, you're thinking of Lynch, and then you had one of our,
I can see his face.
Twitter or in the comments will say it.
I see his face.
I don't think he really made it in the NFL, but dang, he was a good college player. He was a monster, and he was just kind of low to the ground. Was not as tall. No. I love Apu, but Apu came later. This is pre-Apu. This was the nose tackle with Lynch and Lockhart.
Oh, Bravion Roy.
Yes, I love Bravion Roy.
Yeah, no. He played for the Panthers for a few years.
He did hang in there in the NFL for a little bit. I love Bravion. Yeah, and boy, the only reason Apu didn't make it in the NFL would have to be because of Apu, because in terms of like it was not ability. That guy was built to be like an elite NFL player, and unfortunately, I think he always had some major maturity issues, and they got him headed in the right direction, but he would backtrack. And he probably just never could quite overcome all that. But God gave him more ability, speed, size than almost anybody I've seen at Baylor in about a 20-year period, especially the defensive line. But, there are, what I would do, and we need to take a quick break because we're getting ready for Ashley Hodge will be on with us. But, Scotty, I was just looking yesterday at I heard Dave Aranda say the other day, well, we didn't evaluate. We got to reevaluate how we evaluate. We got to look at everything. We got to be willing to think about how to lift, how to do this differently. And I just sat there and looked at Surratt and every one of those Indiana players that Signetti identified and brought with him. Some of them from JMU that he thought could play up. Okay. Some of them did have JMU backgrounds, but then some of those dudes, like even just from last season, like those this thought, well, it's hard to get these guys immediately. Oh, really? I mean, Texas Tech telegraphed what they were going to do. They said, we're gonna set records for spending on the portal, and it'll either make us look bad and dumb, or it'll make us look brilliant. Well, it made them look brilliant, and they hit on all these guys. So I'm with you, Scotty. I mean, Keenan, I like Keenan a lot, and I like Dallas a lot, but yeah, all this whatever. I mean, you gotta just kind of take your lumps when it's hard to get out there on. So, but I do think all I'm doing, Scotty, is I mean, whether or not anybody agrees with it, that's fine. But I'm just telling you, this staff feels like they went to battle and weren't funded. And how many of staff members will be back next year? Well, we're about to find out quickly, because Dave needs to get this thing together in the next couple of weeks. And then they got to be good in the portal. And the portal doesn't start January 2nd. The portal started the day after the season. Portal started about 3 months ago, by the way, with all the tampering that goes on with these things. And by the way, if you're not, I mean, it's like we go, oh, maybe Baylor will do it. But hey, Baylor needed to be scouting Texas State and North Texas and UTSA and Utah, like all that needed to be going on about the entire season. And I'm sure Baylor has people assigned to that. But whatever they have done, it's not worked. They missed on too many people in the portal, and they've missed on too many people in these signing classes. All right. And so, but the portal is bigger than it's ever been. And people like Signetti and people like Tech, you go, Matt, they have all this money. Oh, really? Do you think they gave, the minute they hired Curt Signetti, do you think Indiana handed him like, hey, Curt, here's $15 million to go spend on the portal? No. This was not Texas Tech. This was freaking the Indiana Hoosiers. They said, Curt, we can get you about $3 million. We get you about $3 million for this portal class. Do the best you can, and God love you. If you won 7 games, we'd be pretty proud of you here at Indiana Hoosiers. Oh, wait, we're in the playoff? Oh, my God. Now Curt Signetti, as he deserves, is paid like one of the great coaches in the country. All right. Thank you, Cherry Johnson, Siegmund James. We love you guys. Ascension Providence, CNB, Schmaltz's. Scotty, we got to do some Schmaltz trivia tomorrow. Cannot wait for that. Thank you, Britt Tolley, for what you do. One of the great sandwich shops in America. There they are, the Sandwich Shop. And by the way, welcome on Mission golf cars, not carts. Golf cars. I love it. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. We will have Ashley Hodge, who's come straight over from covering the Baylor Bears. Let's get his take on how today's game went against a former NCAA tournament team, Norfolk State. He'll join us soon.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. Don't buy from social media ads unless the ad is from a verified company. When you click those ads, you open yourself up to fraud. If it seems too good to be true, it almost always is.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks, to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
WhyPersonalLoans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit PersonalLoans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit PropMoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
All right. This is exciting stuff. It's the Mosley Show. And I'm looking, Scotty, has there been anything official on this? Seeing people respond almost like the Baylor thing has happened. let's keep an eye on this. Let's keep a very close eye on this because I am excited about. We were talking earlier about some of the possibilities with some of the a possible Baylor defensive coordinator. I think we'll know that fairly soon, and a lot of us have kind of seen somebody. Somebody started following a lot of us on social media, and it made us think that maybe something was about to happen on that front. So I'll let me keep before I throw anything out. I want to make sure we haven't had anything official here, and Scotty is looking as well. Now, here in a few moments, thank you, CNB. Thank you, Central National Bank. And okay, I'm just looking for a certain name. We'll have Ashley Hodge is going to join us. He's probably making his way back to his computer. He's got a place there in Waco that he can come to us from, or maybe he'll do it from the arena. But he's been doing all his post-game work for Sikkim 365, and it's very, very interesting to kind of see kind of how that Baylor team played. And so Ashley will have some thoughts on that front. And I was just touching base a minute ago. It's Pete Souza who did the game on radio today. And so Baylor ends up winning that game. Yeah, Scotty, keep an eye on any kind of breaking news that comes out of there. And I'm somebody's trying to, this is funny. Somebody knows, but they're yes. Okay. But I'm watching, and I've sort of heard all these things. So, but I want to make sure we have this nailed down before we. Oh, look at there! I mean, it was like I almost felt like I was vamping for Ashley. We were going to be ready for Ashley to take as much time as he needed. Ashley is a man who, after games, will usually get the star player. Will get maybe Scott Drew or whoever he wants, and then he made his way back over to his Waco studio. And he's standing as we speak. Ashley, welcome in to the Mosley Show. Great to have you.
Hey, good to see you, Matt.
97-67. It's always good. And I had to start the show, so at that point, I wasn't really zeroed in. It's always a good sign when some of the bench guys get in. And I saw that Kirkendall had been in there for like a couple of minutes. Did we get a Drew Perry sighting at all in this one? Okay, good.
Drew made a really good pass to Will Kuykendall, and Will missed the layup, so he missed out on an assist. Good times.
I appreciate you in a very subtle way correcting my pronunciation there, but okay, we'll go. We'll go with Kuykendall. Okay. By the way, are you guys ready to report anything? This seems like I'm hearing tons and tons of buzz on this defensive coordinator hire for Baylor. But what I don't want to do is jump the gun. Now, I've already reported the same name that Colt was bringing up. Is it headed that direction? And is there anything you can share with us, or do you need to keep that one close to the vest for now?
I honestly don't know. Colt's tracking that down like a hound dog, and I've been out of the loop on that particular information. But
don't you love, Ashley, though, when somebody, and this happens to you from time to time, somebody will kind of let you know that they know, but they're like, but I can't. I've told people I want. You're just like, okay, well, don't tell me. Don't bring it up that you know. If you can't tell me. I've had that to happen too many times lately, but I guess before we talk about this basketball game, your thoughts of Doug McNamee the other day. You were on this name a while back, and I should have been because, like, Doug's a friend of both of ours, and I probably should have, like the old Mosley reporter should have snapped when Doug was not getting back to me, for a good amount of time. And I just thought, well, there's other people that don't get back to me in life, but he did end up being the hire. I'm kind of curious. You kind of knew who was in the mix. I think it surprised some of us that Jeremiah, from all we know, never really got the call and never really was in the mix. And that may have been too close to Mac. maybe some people thought that would be a Mac 2.0 situation. I don't know. I mean, McNamee also spent a little time for Mac, not as much, obviously, and not as long as Dickey. Can you kind of shed some light, Ashley, like how this got down to McNamee, and were there some other more traditional, like guys that were in the middle of college athletics, like a Hunter Yurachek? Somebody said to me, like the Rice AD would have been a good hire.
Yeah.
That to me, like how did this kind of come down, and what do you think finally made Doug get the nod here?
Yeah, what I heard, it may or may not be accurate, but I'm going to go with it as accurate. I think that they were talking to Ren Baker at West Virginia, and I think Hunter Yurachek's name was a smokescreen. I don't think there was really any other names that were being heavily considered. But after they moved on from Ren, I don't know which party moved on there, but decided that wasn't the fit, then they pivoted quickly to Doug McNamee. And honestly, for me, I'm thrilled. I think he was the better choice from the beginning. I was pretty vocal about that on the message board. I would have liked Jeremiah Dickey also. I think for me, just having someone that already has those donor relationships and doesn't have to take a couple years to solidify those relationships is a really big deal. So I'm thrilled about Doug. I think he gets it. He knows we're in the entertainment business. He knows that raising money is the most important part of the job. I'm sure he'll manage around any weaknesses that he has. He's a very smart, sharp guy. He's engaged with the fans. I think the fans are going to feel cared for, and I think it's going to be an outstanding hire. I think we're going to look back on this 5 years from now and say this is one of the best hires that ever happened at Baylor University.
Man, I like that. I like that attitude, and I like the fact that you were kind of calling for this. I mean, we're going to let it get out there that President Livingstone kind of listens to Ashley. You're lobbying for this.
No influence whatsoever. Yeah.
The Aranda thing is what looms over all this, though. And I mean, after we had a couple of questions in the press conference, I felt like I needed to get right down to business, because that's how Doug could make the most people happy, is move on there, because there's incredible fatigue around him, as well as I guess the only thing that could fire people up is maybe they could get excited if they spent their money in an interesting way in the portal. And it's not going to be like a Texas Tech $15-20 million portal class. I get that. There's really no way, Ashley, is there, to fire people up about Dave Aranda. Like there's just, it's not possible.
It does not seem like a situation that's going to be at all positive next year. I'm at a loss for why he's being retained. I hope the best. I mean, I hope he has a successful season. I'm always going to be, let's go Baylor. I'm not gonna root for guys to lose games, just to say I'm right, for sure. But I think that you're not reading the message boards, Matt, because alcohol sales will definitely fire up the fan base, or at least a certain portion of the fan base. That's the big topic of discussion. Give these animals their alcohol, and they don't care about anything else.
I mean, we needed to get legendary Baylor defensive back Gary Baxter to the press conference to really zero in on what people care about, right? To get some alcohol of the games, which Doug kind of smiled and said, we'll leave no stone unturned. I mean,
yes.
I don't know. I mean, you are, Ashley, sensing a little bit of movement in that direction. There'll be Baylor people who don't like that. And there'll be even people that enjoy a good drink that don't like that. They'll kind of think, well, do we really have to be like everybody else in this regard?
And I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of in that camp myself. I mean, I'm like, hey, you can drink at the tailgates. It's probably not the worst idea in the world to sober up during the game. I think that it is a little bit of a crazy, thing that people are so obsessed with it. But at the same time, I'm a big, give people freedom of choice, and it's America, right? Give them the choice to do it if they want to. So if Baylor decides to go that route, I'll be supportive.
If they do, would you want some of the local beers on tap? Would you want them to support local and maybe have what I can't even think of some of the local
Brotherwell, Southern Roots,
yes,
Balcones. I mean, I'm the Three Nations guy. I got to give a shout out to John Royer. He's been a big supporter of Sikkim 365 tailgates. So I would love to see Three Nations get some love. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good choices out there.
I mean, would he like to be a part of the Mosley show?
That's blood money. That's the old Grant Taft story. The Budweiser, the $500,000 contribution. The Devils had that money long enough. I'll take that money. Have you ever heard this story? You never heard this story?
No, it sounds vaguely familiar to me, but no, tell me real quick. So you're saying?
Well, I think back in the day, somebody with a source to Budweiser was wanting to give $500,000, and some people at Baylor said, "Oh, you can't take that money. It's blood money." And Taft said something like, "The Devils had this money long enough. It's time to put it to good use." Something along those lines. I may be messing up the details a little bit.
Coach Taft not here to defend himself. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting as they look for all these new ways to bring in revenue. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, what's the one school yesterday that Utah, right? I mean, I mean, actually you work with people who are kind of in that space and in that world, and you have friends that are, and I actually know a couple people that are in kind of like private equity and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's like, you got to look at everything, right? It's also kind of scary. Okay, hey, by the way, we're going to let private equity kind of take over our business, but our AD, who has really no experience with private equity, but he'll be the CEO and he'll approve everything with the private equity. These people are not in the habit of like wanting to lose huge money. So at some point they do come calling. So I think Baylor's got, I mean, Doug has an interesting thing to walk, right? Because it's like, yes, okay, here's $4 million in alcohol sales. Yes, we would like that. But then like you can't take everything. And so that private equity, what'd you think about what Utah did? Does that make sense to you, or would you be very leery of something like that?
I'm definitely in the leery camp. I think that, like you said, it's a risky venture for universities to go down that road. I think that, it's their bottom line businesses, and you'll see that they'll be quick to gut all the sports that don't make revenue. That's the future I see, is that they'll say, hey, ROI on everything. And I'm not saying that's a bad way to approach it. I think Doug McNamee's going to approach his athletic department in that way. But I also think, you have to have a balance here where, there's obviously some Title IX compliance, and you can't just like gut every sport and just say, hey, we're not even going to try to win. I think fans will be upset with that outcome. So I'm leery of it. I'm very leery of it.
All right. And you are, for people that don't know, a financial planner and in that financial world. So I'll do a little pub for you there. All right. Yeah. You've got some extra cash. Think of Ashley. That today over at the Foster, where they were not selling beer today. Isn't it funny to see Doug? I have to laugh, and I felt like almost laughing, sending him a text about it. They're treating him like you would normally treat a new head coach. It's like kind of funny. You think at Auburn and all these places where they're Arkansas, even LSU, they're having these basketball games and they're bringing out the new head coach. And so Baylor's kind of doing that with its AD. And while he's fine doing that and having fun, he's a more like a put your get down there and get all the business done, have all the meetings kind of guy. He's probably not a guy who's like dying to be on a bunch of posters, right, and everything. But that's where Baylor is right now.
Yeah.
But did the men's game? Did they give him a little shout out like over the mic, or was he just? I saw him sitting down there courtside.
Yeah, I did not see any shout outs.
Okay.
I wasn't. If it happened, I might have been downstairs getting a water or something like that.
Okay.
But I did see his wife dance with Bruiser, so that was exciting. There was a little dancing going on courtside with Bruiser. Lacey, it's Lacey, right? I think his wife's name.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I think there's. I mean, he was sitting there next to Brent Wilson, James Russell, Benji Pollock, Jeremy Fudge, James Perry, all those guys. He was pounding the flesh. I'm sure he's got some things to talk about as far as getting those donations up. But yeah, I mean, no shout out that I saw.
Yeah. Well, and boy, his connection to Scott Drew. I would think Scott was, Scott tried to act like when he was on with me the other day that no, they didn't. It was all President Livingstone, but I would think Scott, having known this guy for years, felt really good about this hire. I think it's probably a good hire for basketball. It's like you say, though, you can't. Right now, we're in the mode of like, please fix football. Please make this entertaining. Can we win some games, make a change, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, you've got to find that balance. Like Baylor is known for being great at women's basketball. You can't suddenly just go. I mean, they were really good at soccer this year. They've been great at volleyball. So I think you make a good point. Okay. So the team today, Norfolk State. Okay. Should we be, or how much concern do you have that like in almost all these games, the team almost always stays in the game for a half? Now they separated and then they won the game by like 50 or something crazy. I mean, Norfolk State, I don't know, did they not come out the second half? I watched the first half and they actually did a couple of good things and they had some athletic guys and then Baylor just crushed them. First of all, let me just ask you this: the Memphis game the other day, which it's shocking to me that you weren't there, but you watched it. What was your biggest takeaway? And boy, James was really rubbing that in that his streak is intact and yours is not. What was your biggest takeaway? Like, what's the good and what was the most concerning thing to come out of that game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the good was maybe 13 turnovers. Memphis is a high pressure team. It's a road environment. They also stayed even with them on the glass, maybe even out rebounded them by one rebound. So those are good things. Offensively, they were not pretty. They missed a lot of shots in the paint. Memphis's length really bothered them. Defensively, at key points in the second half, they went up 8 points with about 12 minutes to go, and then just kind of folded after that. Really didn't play gritty defense. There's 7 guys. They're hoping to add a guy here in the next week or two. I think they'll add a big man that should really help their depth issues. But right now, just having the 7 guys it's tough to, you got to be concerned about foul trouble. You got to be concerned about fatigue. So getting another body that really matters, I think will make a big difference on the defensive end. But yeah, it just was, it was a tough loss. I mean, it was a game they should have won. Memphis is not very good. They're going to look back on that loss and really look at it as one of their worst losses in the season. Hopefully. They certainly need to try to erase that with a big win against Louisville or maybe a couple extra wins in conference that they weren't expected to get. But this conference is brutal. I mean, Iowa State and Arizona look like killers. And then there's, Houston, Kansas, and BYU that look pretty strong. So it's not going to be an easy conference to rack up wins, no doubt about it.
Who's the most consistent? They think Tunde could be a great defender, but in terms of most consistent defender right now, who is it on this team?
Probably Skillings. I think Skillings gives you a lot of versatility defensively. He can guard big guys. He does a really solid job on the defensive end. I've actually been really impressed with Obi Agbem's defense. He had a reputation for not being a good defender when he came to Baylor, but he really plays defense well with his chest, doesn't let his man by him very often. Cam Carr's good. He blocks a lot of shots. Tunde is a mixed bag. Tunde gets a lot of steals. Tunde is very physical. He can get rebounds, but he has a lot of lapses. I've noticed Tunde, has quite a few lapses. So it's typical for a freshman. But yeah, hopefully a big guy, a shot blocker can really improve this defense, because having that last line of defense, I think, will help.
I wish you would unveil this secret
It's
European.
to be determined. Like there's a target, there's another target. It's going to be based on what happens in the next week or two, for sure.
This feels like a draft and stash kind of thing, like you just they kept this guy in hiding. We may find him, maybe hanging out in Hewitt or something like that. So you're talking about somebody who is not like a frontline starter, but kind of can play. Almost like what they had hoped Powell would be. Powell's been kind of moved up, maybe more than they wanted him to be, and he's actually done some really nice things. Is that what we're talking about? I
think if you're making a wish list for how this team gets better, you want defensive rebounding, you want shot blocking, you want a guy that can dunk, that can finish in the paint. Those are the things that I think really could take this team to the next level. So if you get somebody that fits that role and does it really well, then I think it'll elevate both sides of the ball. Set hard picks, guy and Powell does a good job of that. Powell sometimes has a hard time finishing in the paint. He plays hard. He's like a Freddie Gillespie. I love him, but he's just not like a guy that's got upside athleticism. He's going to beat you more with savvy and hard work. So if they can get an athlete that's really bouncy, that can provide more like an Eve Missy type of athleticism. Now, there's no Eve Missys out there. Don't get me wrong, but somebody that would kind of fit that description, I think, would really help them.
Did you notice on that team, the Pelicans, that unfortunately Misi may need to go somewhere else because Queen is now in the starting lineup? And he's just putting up monster numbers. So, hey, on that travel that when they went overseas, the kid from my daughter's high school, Lake Highlands, who's at Yale, could he help them next year, or could he help somebody?
He can help somebody, because I think he'll be a grad transfer next year.
Yeah.
I think. They made an agreement not to recruit him, to take him. So he wouldn't be a guy you'll see on a Baylor roster. That was a gentleman's agreement, not to recruit him.
I would undo that deal. I would break that agreement. Yeah. I love that kid.
Scott's a guy that keeps his word. Yeah,
I know, but that is a high. Yeah. That's a high character kid right there who played with Trey Johnson. What did you think when you saw Rob hit that game winner? Are you still at a point where you're kind of like, I think it was Rob's dad and others that we were more upset with than maybe him, but I know he didn't look great in that whole thing. I haven't watched enough BYU to see exactly, is he fitting in beautifully? Has it been a work in progress, or is he perfect for them? What's that been like?
I'd say it's a work in progress. I was actually at a church event last night, a Christmas event. So I missed the game, but I had plenty of people send me video, including a friend that sent me a video. He was at the game, showing me the shot. They were down 21 and came back and won it. I don't think it's been a little bit of a inconsistent ride. They're so relied on three guys. It'll be interesting to see how they do in conference play. They got some depth issues. They got a strong, 3 to 4 guys, but then after that, there's some question marks. So, and Rob is a guy that I thought he was terrific in non-conference last year, but once conference play hit, he kind of hit a wall. They scouted him really well, and it might be a situation that's similar to that, where he's not as efficient in conference play, because he's got some weaknesses, and and you can go at him. Like, he's not the best defender in the world. So you can really take advantage of him on that end of the court.
DeBon's scary, isn't he? When he comes,
he's really good.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a scary deal. All right. Any other big takeaways from today's game? They end up winning big. You talked about need to see better defense. Maybe they lock down a little bit more in the second half. This team at times has been really good at offensive rebounds. It kind of comes and goes. They've had games where they're great at that. It's hard to judge, isn't it, when they're playing against people that they can kind of bully around. And
they're mostly great at that.
Okay.
The defensive rebounding has been the one area of inconsistency. They've been really good in some games and really bad in others. Most nights they hit the offensive glass pretty hard. They're, Scott Drew, going back to the days of Rico Gathers and Jonathan Motley and Epi Udo, they've really been great on the offensive glass almost every year. So that's been a big emphasis. But defensive rebounding has always been a weakness, and they were hoping that they would really improve that this year. If they add this guy, a key transfer, I think that could be a real, a source of strength down the stretch. But we got to get him in school. We got to get him enrolled, get him eligible, all those things.
I'm more interested in that guy than even this defensive coordinator. You have teased me with this thing like crazy. Yeah. And by the way, where's AC coach? Does he coach somewhere now? I was just thinking
he was at Wichita State, but I think he's okay. I think he left there and maybe on the Maverick staff. I'm not.
When's the AC? Interesting.
I'm not 100% sure about that. He left Wichita State. I was told that, but I don't know where he landed.
And Isaiah's on that staff at FAU. By the way, this Florida Gulf Coast deal, did you see those kids the other day? I was like, where are they playing that these kids are cussing and flipping everybody off? And that was that Florida Gulf Coast. Those kids, I'm afraid they do sell beer in that arena. That's the only thing, man. These kids are already pretty tough on them. Behind the benches, these Baylor kids, you put a little something in their system, it may get a little ugly. This Nunes thing, and again, I don't want to get you into anything where you have to, I don't know exactly. You probably know more than I do on this, which is usually the case. But tough news for Baylor, because great guy, great developmental type coach. I remember Bridges, I think he had, a role in kind of getting him to the next level, shooting. Yeah. Been with Scott for a long time. How's those Valpo ties? Yeah. That's that's a difficult thing. And again, we just wish that family the best. Yeah. Now again, Ashley, as you know, there's like 27 coaches over there. They have a lot of people over there, so people will fill in, and I think they'll be okay. But like, can you kind of? I'm just wondering from your perspective, like what he's brought over the years from a recruiting and then a developmental type coach. What has he brought to Baylor, and what will they kind of miss not having Jared Nunes over there?
Yeah, he's brought a lot. He's a guy that Scott's trusted for a long time, and I know Scott was very emotional about the resignation. I think there's some family issues going on, some health related stuff as well. So, I commend him for doing what he's doing here, but I think he'll probably coach again. I don't think it'll be at Baylor, but I think that he is definitely a guy that's going to be missed. He's known what Scott wants. He's been calling out the plays on defense, and obviously some skeptics might say, well, we won't miss a guy that's been in charge of defense, but it's a little bit more nuanced than that. He's definitely one of their strongest recruiters. It's going to be a big loss. It's going to be a big adjustment, and I know the players loved him. So that was tough. He actually gave me a call as a heads up before the post came out, and told me kind of the circumstances, and he's a guy I'm close to. I've gone on a lot of trips to France and Italy, and just had a great relationship. He's always been so accessible and so great to work with. So I'm bummed. I'm bummed that he's no longer on staff, but I know he'll fall forward. He's a great guy, and he's got a bright future ahead of him.
At the appropriate time, let's get them on a group text. And I think we can lift the spirits a little bit.
Yes,
but,
yes.
Ashley, thank you, man. Good work today over there at Foster. Did those kids, were they pretty loud over there? They had the women's game.
I saw a lot of earplugs. I'm like, I'm not going there, man. I'm not giving into that. There are quite a few earplugs, even with some young people. I was a little surprised by that. I mean, young meaning, maybe in that 15 to 25 range, but it was great. I love the atmosphere, love the kids and the energy they brought. It'd be cool to bottle that and get more of it. But it's always a cool game.
It's interesting. I've seen some of those gentlemen that sit down there with hair plugs, but not earplugs. All right, Ashley. Good to visit with you. I'll
great to see you.
I'll holler at you soon. There he goes, Ashley Hodge, the founder, co-founder, and editor-in-chief, and the grand poobah over at Siegmund 365, along with Colt, and of course, my man Etheridge was in the middle of those founders. So I want to give all the founders their full credit. There was a chance old Mosley would have been in there. And like many things in life, I passed and had to watch the parade come by without me in it. But it's okay. It's okay. Someday my train will come through. Okay. Good stuff from Ashley there. And lots to kind of digest there with the basketball program. That it's interesting who this is going to be. I mean, I'd hoped it would be Bodo at some point, but it just doesn't seem to be headed in that direction. So some foreign player will show up in the second semester and we'll get to know him. And it will not be Dobrovičić, who set a mean screen, but was not a man that could do a whole lot else. Okay. Set a mean screen. And that's about it. I think it was a nice guy to have around there and told a good joke. But he was not a man you wanted on the court too often. So hopefully this person will be someone that can get in there and really enhance the team. And it won't have like a Cameron Carr impact, but it will have some impact because they need more depth and they need to have like an 8-man rotation. They don't need more than that. I'm sick. You don't need to hear everybody, they only have 7 scholarship players. Scott has played with 7 throughout his career. It's not like he loves having 8 or 9 guys that he's trying to play. So let's not get carried away. Scott only has this many scholarship players. Well, I mean, okay, it's fine. He'll be okay. If they get one more player and they have 8 serviceable players, now they don't need anybody else to get hurt. And I do wish they'd have more depth. And it's not Scott's fault. It's not staff's fault because other players got hurt. Bodo got hurt. Perez got hurt. I mean, it's just, unfortunately, they've had some bad luck over the last few years. And then they had Langston. I'd love to see what Langston's up to. He went somewhere. Scotty may know. We'll talk about that. Okay, I want to get you caught up on Cowboys. And Cowboys are back together. And we'll discuss that as the Cowboys get ready for the Vikings. And they have a new pep in their step. They have a big-time pep in their step because they are in this playoff race because of the horrible Eagles imploding. We'll discuss that next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
With Ease US makes studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner, overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Mosley to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MOSLEY. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Wednesday, baby. Time for my football picks on Underdog. I know Mosley's about to talk about Dallas Cowboys, and I don't know. When I'm looking at player stats, generally I feel more well-informed about teams I watch. When you're betting lines, maybe it's wise to not bet your teams, but I've got 2 Dallas Cowboys here on my Underdog pick for this weekend. It's all about touchdowns this weekend, baby. King Henry, Baltimore taking on Cincinnati in a must-win game for the Ravens to keep their playoff hopes up. I think King Henry plays well. And then, man, give me both Javonte Williams and George Pickens to score for the Cowboys against the Minnesota Vikings. George Pickens is going to bounce back, baby. Brian Schottenheimer, Jerry Jones supporting him with their full-throated confidence. Man, dude has played just outstanding football for a full season. Had a rough Thursday night last week. No doubt. Rough Thursday night for Mr. Pickens last week. But I am putting some money on the fact that he'll get into the end zone on Sunday. So higher than half a rushing touchdown for each of these dudes. That's my picks for Sunday. You can use the promo code Mosley. Pick along with me. With that promo code, you get $50 bonus cash to play more Underdog for free on their dime, just for your $5. Pretty good deal if you ask me. Check it out. Underdog. Use that promo code Mosley.
Ooh. Very, very interesting. I like your bounce back. I think I've been digging in during these breaks, Scotty, and I'm trying to bring us some news. See rumors out there, Baylor staff. I think we're probably fairly close to getting a read on the Baylor defensive coordinator. Now, again, is this going to change the trajectory of the whole deal? No, but I think it'd be of interest. And if they hired somebody that was known as a really good play caller or has done a good job, then I think that'll be a lot of fun. Now, we had Ashley on. There were a lot of things to talk about there. What I was able to gather, and I know we had people commenting, Scotty, I love our people that comment on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mosley channel. Follow us along on Twitter, but we'd love for you to become a YouTube channel, just subscribe for free. We'd love to have you. And then you can comment and say whatever you want. People want to know the latest on Bodo. Listen, if Bodo was going to appear and play, it would have happened. I mean, I don't know. He's over there. It seems like he's having a good time. He's dunking. He's having a great time. I don't really understand what the deal is. I guess he's just not quite ready from whatever the injury was. Ashley Hodge telling us of the big man that they haven't, it's to be determined who it is, but they think they're going to get somebody here in the next week or two and announce it. It'll be for that second semester. That'll come in and help the team and give them some minutes. And so if that's what we're hearing, that to me tells you that Bodo is not going to play for the team this year. And, I think Scott was holding out hope, but maybe I should have asked Scott when I had him on the other day to talk about Doug McNamee. But anyway, we were worried more about the new AD at that point. I did want to say, Scotty, and Scotty said something about the, thinking that Pickens is going to get a touchdown and he'll bounce back. And you're right, Scotty. They've Jerry and Steven and Brian Schottenheimer, they've all gathered around. They put the prayer circle around him. It's been a good, nice, big hug. And hey, this guy, don't doubt George. Doubt George at your own risk. George is going to be fine. They know what everybody was talking about in that game of the Lions. George seemed to be just kind of wandering around out there, was not as engaged as he needed to be. And I think the criticism was fair. Cowboys are wanting to pursue the playoffs. They need George to be right mentally, physically, the whole thing. And so they needed to come behind him and support him in this time and not join in the criticism of George. Now, Scotty, let's show our folks, though. I thought this was interesting. They had the man they called Stink. They had Mark Schlereth, who used to play offensive line for the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins. And this was interesting. This grabbed my attention. Boy, Schlereth, who is no stranger to opinions and no stranger to talk radio, and he's been on TV and he calls games. In fact, used to do a lot of stuff with Trey Wingo there at ESPN. Mark Schlereth was asked about George Pickens' future and what he would think about, would you want to sign George Pickens long term? Scotty, let's let our folks hear from Mr. Schlereth on this front.
I think that Dallas is still in it. They've got their own issue over there playing wide receiver for them. So, they need to address that. There's no way, by the way, just on a tangent, there is no way that I would pay George Pickens. I wish I could buy him for what he's worth and sell him for what he thinks he's worth. There is no way I would invest a dime into that guy going on beyond this season.
So why is that, Stink? Because since he's been here in Dallas, everything we've heard is he's really been a good teammate and a good locker room guy for the most part.
Great. I saw him film his own slow motion movie on Thursday night. Like, I mean, when he's not the target, when he's not involved, he's not interested. You can have that. You can't. You got to know the right guys, and sometimes you got to let go of really good guys because they're not the right guys. And I wouldn't invest 2 cents in that guy.
Ooh. Wee. Wouldn't invest 2 cents in that guy. Whoa, Stink. Jeez. Mark Schlereth coming strong on GP. George Pickens. He was filming a slow motion movie the other night. I mean, Scotty, they didn't even ask about him. Those guys were just kind of like, having a nice conversation with Schlereth. And Schlereth you talk about catching a stray, and probably they should have asked about George Pickens, and maybe they were. But Mark Schlereth came strong on George Pickens. And I'm not saying I agree. I mean, he looked weird the other night. I don't think I would just immediately dismiss the thought of George Pickens moving forward, but there is a guy that really is down on George Pickens and his long-term benefit to the Dallas Cowboys. That one right there grabbed my attention, and I appreciate it, Scotty. We gathered that up, and thank you to 1053 The Fan. That looked to be like G-Bag Nation, I think they call that over there. Brazos was over there. Did you see Brazos? Scotty, he's kind of like, whoa. Brazos used to be with us at 103.3. 103.3. Back in the day, before we brought on Glenn Stretch Smith as our scout. It used to be Brian Brazos. But anyway, whoa. That was some major stuff. Now, I wanted to get you updated on a couple of things. Scotty, let's call this Cowboys Nuggets. And then I do want to end the show with a little campus. I want to get Scotty on here. And then, Scotty, I want us to play your mark going off on Notre Dame and Pete Bavacqua. Pete Bavacqua. Whoa. Okay, man. Okay, Mr. Yormark. Okay, you talk about a new sheriff in town. Brett Yormark, when he shows up, this man will come at you. Whoa. That was interesting. And we'll play a little bit of that for you. Scotty, Cowboys Nuggets, brought to you by Central National Bank. Thank you, CNB. Thank you. Appreciate you. CeeDee Lamb is going through drills during today's practice that was viewed by the media. In fact, I'm looking at a picture of him going through practice. What a day today, by the way. I'm looking outside here in Dallas, 62 degrees. Oh, man. Yesterday, I went out and hit the tennis ball. I played a guy that's too good for me, Scotty, but that's how you get better. I played a guy who played for Army. He played tennis for Army. You go, Mosley, Army probably didn't have a good tennis team. Well, go watch this guy. He's older than I am. He's like 54, 55. Goodness gracious, he's good. But you that's how you get better. You go out and you hit with people like that. My goal is to become a top I'm not even going to say it because it's just stupid. I'll never accomplish it. So I'm not even going to go through with that. 62 degrees and sunny today. Unbelievable. Beautiful day out there. This was what Shotty said on wearing. Oh, Scotty, did you see that I sent to you? First of all, Scotty, do you have any interest in the shiesty? Apparently, that's what these players, and I've never known why they do it, even when it's not cold and they're playing indoors. They'll wear like a ski mask. Trayvon Diggs was one of the first I saw to do it, and he loves them, and he'll wear them after the game. And so it's a ski mask, and the players like playing in those. And I just don't understand why. because it's supposed to be a shiesty or something along those lines, is kind of to maybe help keep you warm when it's very cold out. And yet these guys wear these things indoors. And today, Shoddy had one on. Oh, I love it, Scotty. Thank you, buddy. You could read my mind. You could read my mind that I wanted to show our audience. Shoddy and the Shiesty. Shoddy says here, Scotty, I didn't really like it. I couldn't breathe. I don't know why the guys like it so much, but I thought, hey, this is the cool thing going on. Let me try it. Kind of like the 6'7" thing a few weeks ago. I'm a hip guy, but I don't really like it. It didn't stay on very long. Scotty, have you ever, in any of your pickup basketball or days as a guy who was in ministry, any of your athletic endeavors, is there anything about the shiesty that you think is a good look or is interesting to you? The only thing I've ever had on like that is when I'm skiing, snow skiing. I'll have whatever.
Yeah.
I've put a ski mask on before, but the shiesty doesn't really make much sense to me. Is that anything you're interested in?
Not at all. Not at all. I will tell you the goofy thing I did, mostly in intramural flag football at Baylor, is, I don't know if you remember this, but RG3 had a signature look where he had the long sleeve on his I believe it was his left arm, the whole but not his right arm, the whole, like most of his career. And so when I was playing intramural football at Baylor, I had the one long sleeve on one arm, which looking back was kind of goofy, but that no shiesties for me.
Who was the toughest team that you guys ever encountered? Would y'all go up against the fraternities from time to time, or anybody like that?
You could play competitive, or you could play I forget what the second division was called, not competitive. I never played on the competitive level. I had some friends that did. I watched some of those games. We played in our 4 years, and it was just me and some buddies from church that played together. We probably played 2 teams that belonged in that competitive division, but they wanted to win a trophy, so they played, the level down. And those 2 games were rough. I remember one of them in great detail, Matt, because our quarterback had to miss that game, and I forget why he missed, but I played quarterback in his stead. And it was I don't know what organization they were from, but they had a strategy where they put their 2 smallest, fastest dudes rushing the passer every play. And their whole team was pretty fast, but their quickest dudes were rushing the passer. And, we were a typical college guy intramural team where, like, we put a couple guys out there to block, but like nobody that really knew how to move their feet or do much of anything. And so I would take that snap and have about half a second to get rid of the football every single play. And we tried scheming up a bunch of quick passes, little shuffle passes,
quick
little pitch handoff. We got absolutely demolished in that game. That was junior year, I believe.
Wish I had some footage of that. The SAEs and the Fijis would square off and then KOT they were pretty good. Some guys had a way different alignment than everybody. They would, like, the way they did their line and the way they structured their offense was like ahead of its time. And when they weren't smoking pot, they actually had some great athletes. But I say that in jest because some of them, by the way, they could freaking play basketball. They were doing Steph Curry stuff when Steph Curry didn't exist. I mean, Matty Johnson, Hastings Hanshaw, and Bill Howell. The Sigma Chi's had range for days in intramural hoops. But in fact, the KOTs were so good when Fiji's and KOTs were so good at basketball. I was a Fiji, but the KOT, we had two guys. We had a guy named Shad for us, and then the KOTs had a guy who was unbelievable, and Baylor came and recruited him for his 5th year. Like, he was that good, and Baylor was that bad, by the way.
Yeah, Baylor was that bad, is right.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear an incredible story, and I won't tell the story, I'll let him tell it if you ask him. My dad's roommate at Baylor was friends in high school with Mark Price. And Mark Price, I believe on 2 different occasions, came to visit my dad's roommate at Baylor. And they would go over to the outdoor concrete basketball courts and offer to take on anybody in 3-on-3 basketball. 3 roughly 6 foot tall white guys. And nobody at Baylor, because of the nature of TV in the 80s and the nature of college basketball in the 80s, Mark Price played for Georgia Tech. Nobody knew who he was. And they would just job guys on the basketball court because they got the ball to Mark Price, and nobody playing pickup basketball could stop him, obviously. So those are good stories.
I'll say this. Those guys were hiding under a rock, because I would have been about 8 years old, and I know who Mark Price was. And he was one of the
Did you know who he was when he was at Georgia Tech?
Of all time. He was awesome.
So one of the stories is halfway through a game, one of the opponents did end up recognizing him after he was just burying shots, and was not happy about the fact that his identity had been obscured.
Since some of these guys are probably watching from KOT in Fiji, Scott Sexton was the KOT that they ended up bringing out for his 5th year because he was that great. And then I would have to face him later in church league hoops, and he was incredible. And then our guy was Shad Grubbs, who was unreal. And I guarantee you, they combined in that championship game, they probably, between the two of them, they hit 28 threes. I guarantee you they hit at least 28 threes between the two of them. And freaking at old Russell Gym, which may still be standing today. And I was up there in a freaking my sport coat and khakis as a pledge, watching those guys throw haymakers at each other. All right. Scotty, should we save that? You want to save the your mark? I was going to do your mark. We can save it. We have come to the end of the show. Boy, Brett Yormark, how mad was he at and just ripping the Notre Dame? Thank you, sir. Everybody just tiptoes around, soft shoeing it around the Irish. Oh, nobody can say anything about the Irish. This guy looks like a whiny, crying baby, the AD at Notre Dame. And thank you, Brett Yormark, for calling him out on this stuff. Now, and the landing. Thank you, Brazos Landing. I'll be there soon. Do not worry. Love it. I love sitting out there. I love on a gorgeous day like today, just being by the river, watching it, hearing the river kind of come up against the dock as I'm out there eating my bang bang shrimp, as I'm having my BLT, whatever they use on that BLT, the special sauce or whatever. I mean, I'm not a mayo guy, but they'll use that aioli stuff, however you say that, aioli. Lord help, it's good. I mean, it just flavors it up. The only thing you could possibly put mayo on, I'm not a mayo guy, is a BLT or like a club sandwich, right? Because with that kind of thing, the mayo does hit it right, but I'm a mustard guy pretty much on everything. But that aioli is so good that I'll even consider doing that. Scotty, last thing I'll share with you on that Notre Dame thing. Did you see the news today? I don't think I sent this to you. The guy from the committee, Ivan Mizell, who was a long time, used to be at Dallas Morning News, famous sports writer. People probably think his name's Ivan Mizell. Anyway, I don't know. It's been a while. But good guy, nice guy. And he's written a book. He's on the college football playoff committee now. And when they showed those shots of the college, you would have seen him sitting over on the right. And he wrote a book about one of the most famous Notre Dame coaches ever, Frank Leahy, Leahy. Frank, I believe his name. Is it Pat? No, Frank Leahy. Pat Leahy was a kicker at Arkansas. But anyway, so he's written this great book. And they were going to have a book signing on, like at this, well-known bookstore there in South Bend. They canceled on him. They canceled on him because he served on the committee that kept Notre Dame out. And for all we know, he might have been in that room lobbying for the Irish over Miami. We don't know that Ivan, but he wrote the book and he was on the committee, and the petty Irish canceled and said, we may do this. We're going to reschedule for the spring. I bet they don't reschedule. And I bet he doesn't show up in the spring, nor should he. Cancel on him at the last minute because he served on the CFP committee. Or we're talking major, whiny Irish. The Irish eyes are not smiling. They're in South Bend, Indiana, home of Mayor Pete. Scotty, is that a good way? You think our audience right now would love me to give my thoughts on some people coming out of South Bend? No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. Okay. We don't talk politics here. Mayor Pete, though, people remember him. Why do we remember him? Oh, yeah. He was on the cabinet at some point. I think he was on Biden's cabinet. Good show today. Scotty, I give you, I'm going to give myself a B+ today. Scotty, I give you an A. And I saw Lizzie, by the way, doing something online, like talking about some cultural thing coming up in Waco. And that was a really cool thing. Whatever she was kind of talking about, I was like, dang, I want to come down there and do that. I just can't think what it was, but it was something that made me go, dang, man, this is something I would like to come be a part of. And she was doing it for Rogue. I wish I could remember what that was, but I thought, man, that's a really good thing that Lizzie's talking about. For Rogue, for Scotty, for I don't know, who else are we want to say? For Pete Souza, for Doug McNaby, the Baylor AD, for Ashley Hodge, who joined us today, and for the new defensive coordinator at Baylor. I am Matt Mosley signing off. Everybody have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow at 1:00 straight up.